Atkins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. On behalf of my colleague Moana Meki, I now have the opportunity to speak for 5 minutes and reply to the other contributions that have been made in this debate. And what's become abundantly clear, listening to the members opposite speaking on the debate, is that none of them have actually read the bill. And they've been clearly reliant on notes put together by someone in their research unit who also hasn't actually read the bill. Because as they talk about security of supply, and particularly talking about the importance of having the access to thermal generation in the case of a dry year where supply might be at risk, they seem to have missed the fact that that's specifically allowed for in the bill. There is a provision in there that allows for non-renewable energy during a power crisis. So it's already covered. It allows for the running of plants which combine non-renewable and renewable sources. It allows for one thermal generating plant to replace another thermal generating plant where that's needed for upgrades and so on. There are plenty of provisions in this bill that allow for security of supply. What the bill seeks to achieve is to ensure that future demand is met through renewable electricity. And there is no good reason in a country like New Zealand why we shouldn't be doing something like that. When we already get such a high percentage of our electricity from renewable energy anyway, we should be aspiring to do even better. We should be aspiring to have a fully renewable electricity sector over time. Now, of course, no one's saying we're going to switch off the thermal generation plants, which is what some of the members over there have suggested. Clearly, another example that they didn't actually read the bill. There is no suggestion from anybody that that's what's going to happen. What we're saying is, as we try to meet future demand in the electricity system, we should do that from renewable energy, from renewable sources, and that is something that I think we should, it's a perfectly legitimate thing to ask for. Now, this is the second time we have debated this bill in this House, because the first time it was in my name, and it was in the last term of Parliament, and Jerry Brownlee came in and he spoke against it, and he said, we don't need this bill, because while the government do support the idea of meeting future demand through renewable electricity, they do actually agree with that. You wouldn't know that from listening to some of their speakers earlier tonight. But Jerry Brownlee, a couple of years ago, was saying that the government did believe in meeting future demand through renewable electricity, and he said that the way they were going to achieve that was by putting a price on carbon. Well, how's that worked out? The price on carbon has collapsed. It now is providing no real incentive for renewable electricity. And actually, now, the government have gone even further and said, oh, actually, they don't believe in renewable electricity at all. They're talking about, oh, well, we support this kind of 90% aspirational target. They're just not going to do anything to ensure that we get there. But actually, we need to get there. As a country, New Zealand should be leading by example when it comes to renewable electricity. We have no good reason not to. And we know that in the long-term interests of New Zealand, that is something that we should be doing. Because in the long term, renewable electricity is actually going to be significantly cheaper. In fact, much of our renewable electricity is already significantly cheaper than thermal generation. And that is one of the reasons why we have this very distorted market that the Labour Party is committed to addressing through the New Zealand power policy. Because at the moment New Zealanders are paying a higher price for their electricity than they need to, because the current market is failing. And yet the government over there, once again, aren't willing to do anything about that. The Labour Party has made it very clear. We support renewable electricity. We're willing to do something about that. We support New Zealanders paying a fair price for their electricity, and they're certainly paying well above a fair price at the moment, and we are willing to do something about that. And in the meantime, the national government's response is just leave it to the market. The market will sort everything out. So if the future demand for electricity is met through further use of non-renewable resources, which cost more money to consumers in the long term, the national government, say that's perfectly okay. We on this side of the House say, no, that's not okay. We want renewable electricity. We want cheaper electricity. We want New Zealanders to be paying lower prices in their power bills each month. That is something that we are willing to do something about, while the current government sit on their hands and simply say, it's okay, the market will sort it all out. The market's not sorting it all out. The market is failing in electricity, and government needs to intervene to do something about that. The New Zealand power policy will actually result in New Zealand consumers paying $200 to $300 per year less than what they are paying now. That's something that we're very proud of. It also has the potential to create 5,000 more jobs. That's not something you hear the National Party talking about much these days. They don't seem to believe in creating new jobs anymore. John Key's probably the only person in world history that hosted a job summit that resulted in higher unemployment. But that has certainly been the track record of this national government. And we on this side of the House say we should get active. We should ensure that New Zealand's electricity future is a renewable electricity future. We should ensure that we bring down the price of power for New Zealand consumers, and we on this side of the House are willing to do something about that.
Honourable members, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will please say aye. Contrary, no. No. Noes have it?
Noes have it.
The ayes have it? Party vote called for? A party vote has been called. The clerk will please conduct a party vote. Thank you.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
Order.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 votes in favour.
Māori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 in favour.
Any other votes?
Order. I would just remind members that there's to be no interjections during the taking of the vote, because it can actually be seen as intimidation and may lead to a breach of privilege. Order. Honourable members, the ayes are 59, the noes are 61. The motion is not agreed to. I therefore call on Members' Order of the Day number 4, and just before doing so, I want to advise the House that the Honourable Member Cam Corder will be using a visual aid, and to advise the member that when speaking it must be removed at the conclusion, and also to tell him that it must not interfere with the Speaker's or other members' views.
Summary Offences, Possession of Handheld Lasers Amendment Bill, first reading.